You don't have to stay. Shall she stay or not? Right. I've got to stick to schedule, so if I could get everyone's attention. Thank you for being here, first of all. You don't have to be here. You're choosing to be here, so I'm so grateful that you are. My talk today is called Turning Pain to Purpose, but that's a bit of a mirage for something quite a lot deeper. Hi, guys. If you just come to the front, that'll be amazing. I'll give you a round of applause for showing up. So yeah, I've got 15 minutes, which is going to be tight to kind of seamlessly talk about my journey and also invite you into something as well. But firstly, I'd like to say hello to someone you don't know in the room. So maybe that's turning behind you or next to you. Say hello, introduce yourself, and say maybe one thing that scares you in life. One thing that scares you. Go tell someone that you don't and haven't met yet before. Or maybe someone you know. One thing that scares you in life. Talking. Talking in public. Cliff diving, who knows? Okay. Lovely. And if I could get everyone just to close down their eyes, if that feels good for you in this moment. To come inward a little bit, connect to your why. Why are you here? What brought you here? How many things down the line of your journey have allowed you to be here? All the people in your life. Bringing them into your awareness of how they've showed up for you to allow you the opportunity to be in this space today. So really connect to that why in this. I always like to tune in when I'm in a space with people to, like, everything in your life is built up to this moment. All the little yeses, all the nos, all the big yeses, everything in your life is built up to this moment. So I can have your attention, which really brings me so much joy. I've got 10 minutes to hopefully invite you into some things and inspire you maybe to create some changes, because I don't think anyone is here. Can we shut the door? Yes. Yeah, go for it. I think change is quite a big word and it has a lot of baggage. But yeah, just finishing off this kind of introspection and just come into yourself, come into your why. And just what would allow you to be a bit more present here today. And the talk today is about pain to purpose, but really at the root of this talk, it's about, is life happening for us or is it happening to us? So just coming back to the room. Hi, guys. So yes, I'm going to put a timer on because, okay. I'm going to put it here. So, my name's Geisler. I'm doing a few things today. I've got an ecstatic dance later on. I do a bit of DJing. Pretty much everything I do encapsulates creating more spaces so we can access more of ourselves, so we can transform, which is another word for change, really, but it feels friendlier. Transforming into the people we want to be and rewriting the stories that we've been told, which does hold us back. It's held me back in my time. So, do a bit of DJing. I have a podcast also here, and I have an online men's group, which is Men of Earth. Give what you seek, and you will find. So the men's group that I started over 2 years ago really encapsulates that. It's bringing men back to circle, to rewrite the stories and to learn how our pain can be our purpose. And hands up if you've had some pain in your life. Okay, keep your hand up if you tried to suppress that pain with drugs, with porn, with sex, with food, TV. And be brave, keep that hand up, push your edge, I dare you. And keep your hand up if you've overcome something that was painful and is now just a part of your life. Thank you. So pain's life, right? Life is pain. It's a part of the human experience. And we need it. It's a teacher. If you get an ice bath today, it's going to be painful. But you can learn a lot through that process. And the big inquiry in the pain to purpose is really that reapproaching the pain with a new perspective, which is, and hands up if you've heard the phrase before, is life happening to me or for me? Yeah, so you hear it a lot, especially in spaces like this. You can get pushed into the toxic, everything's happening for a reason, and it's all positive, and just ignore the negatives. And I don't tend to lean too far. Like, there is so much wisdom and understanding, but it is really like biohacking your way through life to understand if something happens, then you can look at it in a different way, and you can see the opportunity and also the responsibility you have to show up to life. A bit about my story. When I was 19, I went to prison for a few months, but I had a lot of time on home detention curfew, so a year of my life I was pretty much incarcerated. There was a lot of crime, there was a fair amount of drugs involved. It wasn't all dark, it was okay at times, at most times really, but there were some big moments that felt like a big train wreck, and as soon as the brakes, the awareness came in of like, wow, it's actually quite big, like I need to take some responsibility. It was almost too late, and I'd done a lot of different things down the line to, bring everything to a head, and I faced prison, and I came out, and I really had no awareness of myself. I was avoiding so much. Trust was a big issue. I didn't have any, not of myself. I didn't have any respect for many people. Didn't have respect for myself, my body. That's been a big thing. So I pretty much spent the last decade, after hitting the road, one-way ticket to Singapore when I was out of university, that traveling experience allowed me to spend time with people who actually had a little bit more reflection and a bit more self-inquiry. And I think environment is a huge thing. The people we spend time with, of course, we're going to be like them, but also the spaces we go, the energy in those spaces is really important. So that's what traveling allowed me to access, was just more of like the self-reflection piece and giving me the time to actually go there. So a decade of that kind of work allowed me to reapproach the things that cause me pain. I want everyone to take a look around the room, and I want you to look for everything that is green in this room. So take a look around and just register everything that's green. Yeah? A couple of things. Okay. Can you tell me everything red that you saw? Because you weren't looking for the red, right? So there's a big piece around where our attention goes, energy flows. What we're looking for really determines what we see. So if I'm in the room and I'm not feeling safe, I'll find many things to reinforce that belief. And that is what the ego does. It proves itself right. So whatever's happening in here will ultimately be proven right. If I don't think I'm worthy, I'm going to look around outside externally to justify why I'm not worthy. And there's lots of kind of threads there to that same perspective, but this is essentially how we move through life. We are trying to keep us safe. We're just constantly doing that. Like today, there'll be many moments where there'll be an edge for you, even me, on this stage, there's an edge. Will I just say that thing? Will I talk about that psychedelic journey that I'm afraid of being judged about? Maybe later. But essentially, there's always edges, and can we meet them? Can we lean in with more love and more care for ourselves, or are we going to meet them with fear? There's two decisions, really. It's either love or fear, which really dictates where we go. And there'll be opportunities today to stretch that, to lean into the discomfort, the things that, of course, keep us safe, keep us comfortable. The same word in Spanish, to isolate, also means to insulate, which is essentially comfort. When we're comfortable in a home, think about a home, we are insulating ourselves to keep us comfortable, but that isolates us as well. So what keeps us comfortable also isolates us from connection, from community, from growing, essentially. And that's the part of this talk. It's understanding that going there to the places that cause me pain are really where the gold is. Like the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. It's not easy for me to sit with that inner child that's scared and just wants to like call my mum and just like be saved. but I have to go there and like understand why I'm in pain. Like, what are the things that cause that pain? I've only got 15 minutes, so I won't go too far deep into that. But it is really an invitation to, and I've done 125 podcasts, and the one core thing that I notice, and a lot of my friendship groups now, which I'm so blessed to have friends like this, that see everything as an opportunity. There's no moaning. There's no, God, the weather's shit today, that's going to affect my mood. There's none of that, maybe now and again, but it's not that, it doesn't consume the people that I spend time with. On a podcast, 125 episodes, over an hour each, that's 5 days of conversations. And the one thing that everyone leans into, which is success, is that how am I seeing this? How am I seeing my mother's death as an opportunity to reinforce my own way to live life a bit more? Like, there's no opportunities, and of course, I'm not bypassing the human experience. There are awful things that happen in the world, and it's not to excuse anyone's behavior, but you get to decide in between the stimulus and the response. If anyone's heard of Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, he accessed something in concentration camps which allowed people to live longer and essentially like last the awfulness of the Holocaust. And the one thing was between stimulus and response, there was a choice. How am I going to choose to respond? And the people that chose to respond with a hope, faith, hope's like, I don't like hope. I think faith is a lot better. It's trust. Trusting that the sun will shine. There will be a day which I can leave this hell situation. But it is that viewing life in a certain way. So the opportunity here is all conscious beings. We're all conscious to a large degree. How are we going to choose to face the opportunity? I'd like to read you a quote, actually, from a man called Tim Morrison. He was on my podcast recently. I'm really plugging the podcast. What happened to us might not be our fault, but it is our responsibility for our own healing. And you are willing and ready to take responsibility to work with and through what you are currently at, to accept the reality of where you are currently at, because there is no other way but through. And I recalled on the Serenity Prayer, if anyone knows it. I'm going to read that as well. And that I feel like there is room here to lean into what religion has given us also. Because pretty much for our whole existence, there was some connection to a higher power. There was a belief. There was a story about why things happened the way they did. And I think there is things we can take from that. It's not to say that religion has it all figured out, but there are two fools, one which feels religion has no purpose, and the other one which believes it wholeheartedly. But the Serenity Prayer really feeds into this, I believe. So it's give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. And if you take anything from the talk, start to observe successful people, or what you would deem successful people, people that you admire, what the common thread is, how they're meeting opportunities. That really is what sets apart people from being a victim or a victor of life. And I think it's the biggest thing that we can all lean into. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you all. Thank you. I'm going to tell the mushroom journey trip. Why not? Pushing edges. So very quickly, I was in a mushroom ceremony in Portugal just over a year ago. One ceremony, a lot happened. If anyone's on psychedelics, it was very up here, and I accessed a different reality which I felt was more real than this. I learned some things from that, but the second ceremony was really the biggest for me because nothing happened, and I was sat there numb, and I was like, oh God, I thought I'd done so much work to not have this feeling, and it was a familiar feeling that I'd had when I was disconnected, lonely, isolated as a teenager. And I was like, wow, okay, this is really real. Like, what's going to happen now? I've got a plane to catch tomorrow. That's going to be awkward. I can't feel anything. And I was like, what am I going to, I really went into this. I was in this because I had the space to, time was just slowing down. I was like, all right, what am I going to miss in life? I was really going there with this. What am I going to miss? I'm going to miss this thing. I'm okay with certain things. But what I'm not okay with, feeling another person, having empathy. I think that's what sets us apart from many animals. We have such capacity for empathy and compassion for other humans. And I was like, I'm gonna miss that. How am I gonna connect with someone? And it was like a disability at the time, because I was just like, if I can't feel someone else, if I can't feel myself, how am I gonna feel someone else? So I started planning my death. I can't live this way. I need to really end my life, because I just couldn't. And what it gave me, because the integrity of the space I was in, which gave me a new respect for psychedelics, was really, really powerful. And the fire and the elements, and just to really sit and be with that and just let it pass, which it did. Most things do. But what it allowed me to really access was, I had such a flavor and an understanding of people that go through hard things and they are numb and they haven't got the capacity to be there for other people. It gave me access to what that would feel like for someone. So in that pain of planning my death, there was so many lessons in that. And maybe some people wouldn't look at that, and maybe some people would choose to be like, that was just a horrible experience. But I do believe in every horrible experience, because there is no good and bad, thinking makes it so. Really, in every situation, there's something to understand about it and an access point to grow. So yeah, thank you all, appreciate you. And 4 o'clock, there's gonna be ecstatic dance in there. I'll be hosting. We're gonna have some fun. It's not gonna be serious. Yee.